Hi guys, welcome back to the Small Barn Workshop. Today I'm in my utility, and during the course of this video I'll be turning this empty space here into a shoe storage seat that looks like this. This is the size of it, so before I do any more, let's just take that into the utility, plonk it on the floor and visualise the size, make sure I'm happy with it. Okay, so lengthwise it's okay. I've got about 55 millimeters, so I can scribe it to the wall and it lets me finish this end, which is fine. Height wise it's okay, it will be when it's finished, it's not at the final height. And because I have really big feet for such a small guy, can't get my trainers in that way. This is 300mm timber on the bottom, so I'm going to make it so our trainers stand up edgewise. So I'm going to put some compartments in so they all don't fall over. I want to cut two ends and probably 3 compartments. 400 minus 18, so they want to be 382mm long, and I need 5. Actually, I'm going to make the 2 intermediate dividers slightly smaller, just because one offcut is 265, so I'll make another 265, just saves an offcut. Okay, so because I've brought all this round here now and it's going to be quite heavy, I might as well just screw it up outside on the table rather than taking it back to the workshop. Actually, I'm just going to change this end. This is a piece of the 300mm and it was easy just to cut this down because of the width. But of course it means that the grain is running the opposite way to the rest of it. So I've just ripped a piece out of the 400mm wide bit so I can keep the grain the same direction. Okay, so that's the main carcass together. So most of the next steps is just bling. But first of all, I just want to put some feet on it because I want it to be sat just off the floor. So when the floor gets wet, gets mop, comes in with muddy boots, it's not stood in water. So I'm going to just cut some feet from my new find, this vegetable stroke plastic wood, which is waterproof, as demonstrated in this video. I'm going to cut some probably 2-inch squares and just glue and screw them on the bottom, and then it's sat up 5mm off the floor. This stuff cuts ridiculously easily. With the end in the corner up against the end wall, I need to just space the unit out slightly so it gives a little room for the lid to overhang the carcass and move up and down. So I'm just going to cut a couple of pieces of the same stuff, maybe about 1.5 to 2 inch wide, and then just miter one end and then just fix it to the side panel, and then it acts as a little scribing point to fix to the wall. Good morning. Right, we're in the Bling phase of the base unit construction. So these are 2 plinths that need to be mitered and set around the base. Then I need to cut some more pieces for the detailing that will eventually match the cupboard doors above. And for that detailing I need something about 3 inch wide. So I'm going to cut this furniture board back up its glue line to create something around about 3 inch line, and then I'm going to cut and plane it down to about 10mm thick. I haven't got any 10mm thick timber, so I'm going to use this. So the choice is to either put it through the thicknesser until it is 10mm, or just seem a little bit of a waste, I'm going to probably just resaw it on the bandsaw, because it's getting to that time of year where it's a bit chilly and I might need some fire starters. It's not something I do a lot, resawing on the bandsaw, but in this case saves a load of shavings and it gets me some fire starters. And these little push blocks are brilliant just to make sure that everything's held securely back to the fence. Yeah, have a cup of coffee. Okay, so that's the base unit finished. I'm happy how this looks. It needs a sand before painting, but that's for later. Of course, I didn't have to put all this feature on the front, but I like the way it looks and it'll match the doors up there when I get round to that. But if you've not got the equipment to cut the timber down and plane the timber down, you just go down to the timber yard and get some 9mm MDF, cut that into strips, or indeed you could just buy some nearest size timber. This is finished about 10mm, so you could get something like 1/2 inch by 2 just to create the same. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is make the fold down top, and to do that I'm going to use that quality parquet floor that I use on a lot of projects. Probably 4 pieces. I need to put a bearer on the back for it to hinge across, and then I'm going to make a top that overhangs maybe an inch, 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to get my disc on my angle grinder and grind the corner off so it looks a little bit wavy edge, a little bit like a live slab, a little bit like I did with the wardrobes upstairs. Let's get on with that. It's warmed up now though, so I think I need to take this top off. Okay, so the last time I tried to make a live edge top out of these parquet floors for the wardrobe, I got myself in a little bit of a tangle. Because of these anti-cup grooves, I ended up with one that far forward that once I'd shaped this front edge, I immediately found a groove, which was quite annoying. Here I've got 20mm between the edge and the first groove, but then 25mm between each groove. So I'm going to cut that off. And then that's my front, gives me 25mm to play with. And then I'm going to make this top from the front backwards to make sure that I'm not drawn all over the wall, to make sure that I'm going to keep that piece. So cut that off, that gives me enough. And then I'm going to have to make a bearer at the back, cut this one down, probably a 2-inch width, some pocket hole screws in the back so I can screw this bearer down, and then I can hinge it along that line, and then I can make the top out of what's left. So that's the plan. Right, let's go and do some cutting at the saw. Okay, a little bit of a cheat there. I've just cut a slight bevel on the back of this board. This piece goes against the wall and I need to scribe it. So by doing that, it's a real cheats where you only have to scribe the point and not the whole thickness of the piece. Hi guys, so it's the morning of day 3 of the build. So the base is painted, the top is stained. So today, hopefully quite a short day, I'm going to fix the base unit, fix this back on, put 3 hinges on so this top's injured, load it up, we're finished. Probably it's taken about Friday, today Sunday, probably so far I've probably got about 6-7 hours in this build, so relatively quick build. So right, let's push on and get the job finished. Couldn't find a 1-point screw bit. Looked in all my drawers this morning for a 1-point. Couldn't find one, so I used the hand screwdriver. And then I actually knocked over some of the screws from this container. There was one in there. It's a lot easier with a battery drill than it is with an hand screwdriver. We get out of it, don't we? We forget all these old joiners that have no choice but to use an old screwdriver. And a slotted screwdriver at that as well. That's why they all had 4 arms like Popeye. Right, I'm done. So in the next video that I'll make in here, I'm going to be putting these top cupboards up and some coat hooks at the back, using the same materials, using the same colour. Took about 8 hours I think, and probably materials about €75. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you again soon. Cheers guys, bye.